Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out for the first time ever Disturbed's latest release. This is Don't Tell Me featuring Ann Wilson. Super excited. I've actually only done reaction and analysis videos for The Sound of Silence, a live version and their music video version. So I really haven't done many videos for Disturbed, so I'm very excited to get back to David Draymond and his vocal prowess. Just before we get into the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to my partner company here on YouTube, and that is TuneLark. They are an amazing virtual learning platform for music. Their whole mission is to get you one-on-one with a teacher perfectly fit to your specific needs, whether you want to improve your voice or learn music composition or pick up a new instrument like the violin. They have expert teachers waiting to help you on your journey. In my journey to becoming a professional opera singer and now a professional singer in other genres as well, it has been absolutely instrumental, no pun intended, to have a teacher guiding me every step of the way. And finding a teacher that's a good fit for you, that knows your voice and cares about you, is huge on that journey. So whatever music lesson you're interested in, TuneLark has it. Please visit the link in the description below for 50% off your first virtual lesson in TuneLark. Without further ado, let's check out Disturbed's latest release, Don't Tell Me.
We know we should turn and just walk away. We can't help but cause more pain, wounded more with every word that we say. The memories remain.
Wow, this is super cool. Really enjoying this. The whole vibe actually feels a lot like their studio version of Sound of Silence. Less so musically, but more so the actual music video looks very similar, and kind of how the colors are approached. And then these solo shots of David Draymond look very much like that as well. Musically, we're starting off with a little bit of like a drone here, and then we get into this guitar lick that seems to repeat. Do you notice how the sounds started like almost shaking around each other right there in this beginning synth sound? That's because a sound started and then another sound 1/2 step off came in, and it created that disturbance. I'll see if I can find the pitches here. So B flat and B. So you hear that here in the intro, and it just gives a very eerie start to this song. And then we get the guitar.
We know we should turn and just walk away. We can't help but cause more pain.
So David's taking this very light approach to his voice. So he's only going up to C#4, so that's the C# right above middle C. So this is, of course, not high for him, although it is rather high to be starting a song at this place. Usually you would start a song kind of in your lower middle or even low range, so that you have, you know, kind of a further place to go to get up into that higher, really exciting singing. But instead, David's actually singing he's using a very light mechanism of his chest voice, and starting kind of in his middle to upper middle. Even for David, this would be considered upper middle. Certainly not into his full upper range, but C#4, right? That's at a point where it's, you know, it's well above your kind of natural speaking range. So you do have to kind of use technique to sing there and make it sound good. It's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful sound he's making.
We can't help but cause more pain, wounded more with every word that we say.
Every word So we're in E flat, E flat minor. So he got up to E flat 4 there again, pushing into that upper middle, getting towards the upper, keeping that singing very light. Keeping the singing very light there up through that E flat.
And we say the memories remain. Here we are once again, questioning the end. Am I supposed to let you go? Don't tell me now.
Okay, now we're into the chorus. I'm going to pause before we get into the chorus. He's keeping it all, again, very light. And he's also allowing a lot of breathiness to the sound, which means there's pretty low vocal fold closure. Vocal fold closure is essentially how long the vocal folds, or what you've probably heard as vocal cords. Nowadays, they're called vocal folds. How long they are together during each time they oscillate, which is how they create the sound. And a low vocal fold closure means you're allowing a lot more air to come through them while they're oscillating, which means they're together for a shorter period of time. This is called the closed quotient. And this is a low closed quotient singing that David's using. When he gets up into his high chest, big belty stuff, that high stuff he does, the closed quotient goes way up, and we get a lot more of that, that bite in the sound and that squealo in the sound. But right now, it's all very breathy, very intimate. It's a very soft version of David's voice.
Questioning the end. Am I supposed to let you go? Don't tell me now that you hate me for never letting go. Let there be no doubt I can't live my life without you.
So this is really cool to watch, because you do get to a point in your chest voice where you can no longer kind of float the note in pure chest voice. You could mix it, you could falsetto it, you could kind of head voice it. Head voice meaning the registration, not the resonance mechanism. But you can tell here, David wants to maintain that pure chest voice connection, but as he gets to a certain point, he has to get higher vocal fold closure, or his voice will naturally want to flip up into a falsetto. And that's just physiology. So you can tell as he gets higher, and it works perfectly, it's written so perfectly for this, the voice gets more intense, right? We're getting into this chorus, the latter half of this first chorus, where normally you would expect a little more intensity in the sound or whatever, in the atmosphere. And you hear his voice, you hear the vocal folds start increasing their closed quotient. A lot more bite gets into the sound. You hear kind of getting closer and closer to that like signature David Draymond belting sound. Really cool to kind of watch that progression throughout this chorus, because he starts it very floaty, and then it gets more and more kind of intense, and the vocal fold closure increases.
Don't tell me now that you hate me for never letting go.
And that is getting into upper range. So the first high note in the chorus was an F sharp 4, and that most recent one was a G sharp 4. So that's getting pretty high. Now we're only 1/3 away from tenor high C, the famous tenor high C. So we'll see how high David takes it.
Let there be no doubt I can't live my life without you. I close my eyes and still hear the screams.
Damn, cool voice.
That would tear apart our world. I keep reliving everything. I can't believe how much this hurts.
Yo, I got full body chills when Ann just started singing. Oh, wow, what a great voice. And what a nice compliment to David. These two together. Oh man, I hope they do some major duetting. Okay. Whew. All right, let's go back.
I close my
So she's also in this verse 2 section. She's also going up to that G sharp 4 area. It sounds like she has a pretty low lying natural voice, of course, extremely developed and well trained singer. So, you know, singing up to a G sharp 4 and chest voice, no problem. Not a problem for any female singer, really. But you can tell there's a gravity and a weight, and I also love the little bit of grit in her sound too that just seems to be there naturally, a little bit of gravel in there. It's a really cool voice.
I close my eyes and still hear the screams that would tear apart our world. I keep reliving everything. I can't believe how much this hurts.
So she got up to a B flat there, so that's just below tenor high C, and still very comfortable for Anne.
I can't believe
That one.
how much this hurts. Here we are.
Yes.
Once again, still questioning the end. How can I let you go? Don't tell me now that you ain't there. I'm never letting go. Let there be no doubt I can live my life without you.
Oh, this is absolutely killer. Yes, we get it. We got the duet. Amazing. Anne was getting up. I think she got up above tenor high C there. She was ripping it up in the high chest voice. Hold up.
How can I let you?
Okay, so B. So that's 1/2 step below tenor high C there for that belt.
How can I let you go? Don't tell me now that you ain't there. I'm never letting go.
We've got some really nice multi-tracking happening in the voices. So David is doing multi-tracked here, right? Multiple takes in the studio. We got some harmonies going on, but what we also have, which is really cool, is David definitely has done a take where he's singing in that very gritty rock belt style that he's so good at, but he's also done some takes that are clean vocals. So we get this kind of mix of the gritty sound and the clean sound kind of spread out through what you call the stereoscopic image. That's the kind of audio landscape that goes out this way when you're listening. You'll hear some things over here, you'll hear some things over here, some things in the middle. Some producers and engineers are getting better and better at creating kind of like a 3D sound using delay and reverb and stuff. I also produce a lot of music, so I do comment on the music production as well. And so we're getting this multi-tracking, harmonies, and different styles of singing, different vocal techniques and approaches. And it creates a very cool, very full sound because of the different kinds of timbres we're hearing. And I'm going to assume they did something similar with Anne, although I was paying closer attention to David at that point.
Can I let you go? Don't tell me now that you ain't there. I'm never letting go. Let there be no doubt I can live my life without you.
Guitar solo will always blow my mind. I mention this occasionally on the channel. I play guitar, but I'm very much a beginner. So when I see phenomenal guitarists and guitar solos, I still can't tell like really how great a guitarist is, like a great guitarist from an exceptional guitarist or a good guitarist from a great guitarist. But I have so much appreciation having been playing for like a year for any any skill level that is remotely even close to this, I'm just like, yes, bow down, amazing.
Here we are, once again, still questioning the end. How can I let you go?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Once again,
Go back to the start of this section.
here we are.
Here we are. So he's singing up that high when I'm doing, here we are. But if he does this gritty sound, it actually sounds much lower because of the activation of the vocal folds in such a way, sort of, in a way, creates an undertone, and it gives it a feeling of being much lower. So when you're hearing these big, gritty rock-style singers, metal singers, when they're doing the gritty singing, truly, and what they're doing in their true chest voice, if there were no grit in the sound, is actually much higher than it sounds like it is. The kind of intensity gives it, and the grit gives it kind of a darkness and a gravel to it. And actually, depending on what kind of grit you're inducing, you actually are creating an undertone with the false vocal folds. So that is also a thing that happens in the harsher style singing. So you literally are actually creating an undertone underneath the true sound. So these kinds of singing essentially can sound much lower than they are, but he's actually not singing very low right here.
Once again, still questioning the end. How can I let you go? Don't tell me now that you hate me. I'm never letting go. Let there be no doubt I can't live my life without you.
Their voices sound so good together. The engineering is mixed in a way, so David's a little more present in the sound than Anne is. But her singing essentially the harmonies is just phenomenal. Them together, two awesome voices.
Don't tell me now.
Yeah, she's singing. This is very standard. This is what works really well for a harmony over a melody, is singing a third above. If you sing a fifth, it can sound very like Gregorian chanty, and parallel fifths is what they're called. If you have an arrangement where two notes are 1/5 apart and they're moving together, that's called parallel fifths. That's kind of like a big no-no in music composition. There aren't really any rules, but people tend to follow guidelines. So thirds work really well for voices. And that's what's happening for the most part during this chorus, is Anne is singing a third above David.
Still questioning the end. How can I let you go?
That's just a perfect example of David's high chest, gritty belt. So that's the G sharp 4 again.
How can I let you go? Don't tell me now that you hate me. I'm never letting go. Let there be no doubt I can't live my life without you. Don't tell me now that you hate me, because I don't wanna let you go. It's like living hell for me to live my life without you.
So it seems like the chorus, which they just doubled at the end, is also pretty standard for arrangements. You have verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, which is pretty much what they've done here as well. Nothing really changed in this last chorus. I was kind of waiting for the harmonies to change or some, more vocal fireworks, or even some added instrumentation. But the choruses throughout the song have been they've been very close to the same, which is a thing that can happen if your first chorus is already pretty big and pretty intense, like you would expect in a Disturbed song. It doesn't give the arrangement much room to kind of grow and blossom and get more intense and like really have an obvious climax in the song. So not a whole lot of changes, which is what I was kind of waiting for. So that's why I let the last section play for a while. But it seems like they're about to have something here after this final chorus, because I just heard David doing some ahs. No words, just syllables. So we'll see what happens. So that's a perfect example of the third harmony. David sings this whole, he sings this whole melody, then repeats it, and she hops in a third above him. Textbook. I really like what they did in that last section where the voices stayed just as intense all the way through the end, where we just get this totally solo David grit belt with some nice delay happening around the side, so we get some nice atmosphere. So that's happening while the instruments are... There was I think an acoustic guitar we heard for the first time. It was like a switch from an electric to an acoustic. And there was just an overall, decrease in intensity and volume from the instrumentation in the background while the voices are still going full on. Really so cool. And that's not something you hear very often. Usually the elements are blended in such a way where when the instrumentation's dying down, the voice is dying down. And that works really well. But it's also cool to switch things up and do something like they did here, where the voice stays really intense while the instrumentation kind of chills out. I want to get the start of this section so we get the full scope. Right here. Now you can hear the acoustic guitar. Yeah, so everything's dying down. The guitar volume is staying up, but at some point the electric volume goes down and the acoustic guitar becomes the most present instrument in the mix. And then have this final string cadence before David hits us with this final solo. Tons of echo, tons of delay, tons of reverb. So sick. Wow, what a great new song from Disturbed. Really enjoyed taking the time to react and analyze this one. Hope you guys enjoyed as well. If you did, please do consider joining my Patreon for free, actually. It's apparently you can join for free and kind of see what's available, and then to get benefits, it's just $1 a month and up. you know, depending on the tier you want to join. But $1 to get access to my private Discord server and be able to interact with me and stuff like that. So check out my Patreon. Great way to support me. Otherwise, please do like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment for the algorithm. It's super helpful, especially when a new music video pops out like this. It can kind of get up in the trending window. And, you know, my goal here is to just bring the love of music to the world. I want you guys to appreciate these artists that I cover more and kind of understand what makes them so talented and amazing. So you can come on this journey of just appreciating music so much with me. That's my whole goal. So if I'm doing that, please do consider supporting me in those ways. And lastly, if you're interested in music lessons of your own, like I talked about early on in the video, check out TuneLark. Link is in the description in the below for 50% off your first trial lesson. That's all, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.